Hello, welcome back to Master of Orion 2. In this game I'm playing Uncreative, and I also have a hidden tech tree. So it turns out that in the in the launcher there's an option called hidden tech tree. There's a few other pretty interesting options there as well, but one of them is hidden tech tree, which I think only would make sense for Uncreative. Basically makes Uncreative even worse, or even more interesting, depending on how you want to look at it. But I can't actually click into these to see what the other technologies are. So that's made things extremely difficult because I don't know like which direction to research. Essentially, I kind of have to pick one and then hope that I get something good. So right now, I'm having this problem where my armor is still titanium, even though we're at turn 208. I do have reinforced hull though, because I exchanged the technology for that. And I recently researched up in chemistry. This one here, nanotechnology. I'm pretty sure this is the field where one of the technologies is Zortrium armor, which is what I was hoping for. Now, I'm not actually at war with anyone, which means I may be able to negotiate. I suspect the Illyrians are going to declare war on me shortly, though. So if you take a look at their technology, firstly, they've only got titanium armor, okay. So, twice as good as titanium. Heavy armor, reinforced hull, cluster shield. So that's very bad for me because my best beam weapon, I think, is laser. So let's take a look. Yeah, I'm still stuck on laser cannon, which is the starting beam weapon. And I believe at one point in the previous video I said, once I conquer the silicoids, the game is basically over. But in the case of Uncreative, that's not necessarily the case. Looks like their fleet. It's probably that there is probably their main fleet. If they have cluster shield though, I'm not going to be doing a lot of damage. These are heavy lasers. Maximum of 6 damage. Reduced by 3, but times 3, so 6 times 3 times 3, basically. That's how much damage it's going to do. So 6 lasers firing 3 times each, because of auto firing, and then doing a maximum of 3 damage. It's actually pretty decent now that I run the numbers. I do have a lot of firepower here, so who knows? Maybe it will work out in the end. I don't know what these transports are doing, but I'm going to go grab this splinter colony. They may very well just take these planets, but that's okay. I'll just take them back if I need to. I don't really have a way of defending them other than leaving my entire fleet there. So we're going to research in this direction, hopefully get class 3 shield, kind of go from there. Now I believe, I don't have the best combat speed, but with this beam attack I should be okay. But I should be able to just pop this crystal on the very first salvo. So you do have to be careful of crystals because they can kill all your marines, and then then it takes control of your ships, which is really annoying. You get it back though. If you kill the crystal, then you'll get your ship back. So it's not so bad. So with this first salvo, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, warp dissipator. That's also good, but not what I wanted. All right, let's try. I'll grab Holo Simulator just to boost my. Alright, well, that planet is doomed. That was my splinter colony that I basically got for free. But I'll get a fleet ready. Colony base, yep, good. Actually make the cloning center first. I'm going to... Oh, this guy's a science leader. Also have this guy, farming, financial, labor, and medicine. And I do have a lot of money, so I really should go ahead and take advantage of that. So I'll get rid of that later. Kronos is there as well. Wouldn't offer a lot of benefit. Faster Navigator would be nice. Galactic Law reveals all planets. I don't really like to get heroes with Galactic Law revealing all the planets. I think it kind of takes away some of the mystery of the game a little bit. I like exploring the stars myself. Might sound a little bit crazy, but that's just how I feel about it. So I try not to recruit this guy, pretty much for that reason. If the situation's really dire and I could really use him, then by all means I will. But if I can avoid getting him, I will. So right now I'm going to prepare. Get an outpost ship first, and then I'll get the colony ship. Basically going to recolonize Vig immediately. And I'll grab that as well. It's got gold deposits. A couple of other planets around, but not too interested in the ones which are ultra poor. They do take a while to really get going. Okay, let's see what this space crystal can do to me. Looks like I got first move, so not a problem. Alright, there we go. Got another splinter colony. Had to fight for it, but it was worth it. This place, I'll just get as much science out of it as I can before it dies, because it will die. I could scrap some stuff, maybe scrap the starbase. The starbase has absolutely no chance of defeating this. So I'll start scrapping things, and then I'll move back in once the colony has been annihilated. I could probably move some people out of there as well if I've got vacant planets. I can save all but one person. Just because a colony has to have a minimum of one person. Now position my fleet over Zib, just because of a bit of a central location. Got some food production issues. Yeah, soil enrichment would be pretty good. Might have to use the silicoids for farming. Although the Klakons should be good farmers as well. Doesn't look like I have any good Klakon planets though. Now, I think that I sent him to this planet thanks to the biospheres. Now has 3 population. Biospheres really shows how good it is when the planet has a really low population limit. I think this planet had a pop cap of 1. So all of a sudden that's tripled now. Whereas if it's a bigger planet, it has a pop cap of 16 going up to 18 as a percentage isn't that big a deal. Now it's ready. Time for these people to die, unfortunately. But that's what the Antarans have decreed. So that is how it will be. And unfortunately, in this particular game, I don't have the power to fight back against the Antarans. So I'll recolonize that planet. Meanwhile, for some of these other planets, instead of building battleships, I'll build more colony ships, just to get more colonies happening. I might be able to get some technologies out of the Nolums. Yeah, they're democracy. So I should be able to milk this actually. I will try to. I think they're on the verge of being wiped out though, so I better get in there quickly. Probably should have done that a while ago. They're democracy, which means that their spying bonus is -10, at least defensively. So I should have a decent chance to grab some good technologies. Alright, they want fusion bomb. So first of all, removing spies from their territory, already done because I'm not spying on them. And then secondly, they want fusion bomb. So in principle, I'd prefer not to do it just because, submitting to demands is generally not a good thing. But in this case, I'm just going to do it because fusion bomb's not that big a deal. And this isn't the game doesn't have that level of complexity where I think they see you as being like a pushover, and then they start to treat you better differently or anything like that. I don't think it's that complex, so there shouldn't be any further consequences from that. According to this, we're affable, so I don't know what affable means, but I'm guessing that means we're okay, or at least on speaking terms. We can have a conversation without it turning into a screaming match, perhaps. 1 negative command points, but once I grab these colonies back, it'll very quickly. So it still says there that it's a splinter colony, which is kind of interesting. But going back there doesn't mean I get it for free or anything like that. I do have to recolonize it. So my science is pretty abysmal. I'm starting to build up some decent research. When I get the Holo simulator, that'll give it a nice boost. It will give everything a bit of a boost, but science in particular is what I'm after. Once again, I want most of these planets to be populated by silicoids, just because of the racial abilities of silicoids. Essentially, vastly superior to my race. Not requiring food, and then of course not producing any pollution whatsoever. And on top of that, being environmentally tolerant. Well, tolerant means no pollution, but it also means higher pop cap. So I definitely want these planets to have silicoids if possible, instead of my own people. My guys can pilot the ships, and the silicoids can do all the manual labor. That's pretty much the game plan here. So these ships are getting pretty close to 500 experience, or some of them are. When they're at 500, they get, well, normally they would get elite crew, but because I'm Warlord, it shifts everything up. So normally 0 is green, and then I think 50 is regular, then 150 is veteran, and then 500 is elite. But in the case of Warlord, you start at regular, so 0 is regular, then 50 would be veteran, 150 would be elite, and then 500 would be ultra elite. And ultra elite is even better than elite, of course. You get 75 beam attack and 75 beam defense. So the beam attack on these ships is going to be very high, of course, but more importantly, perhaps, is the beam defense. So any ultra elite right off the bat, because of my racial abilities, is going to have, and I've got an optronic computer as well, 50 beam attack. 50 plus 50 plus 75. So 175 beam attack. And then the same for beam defense. Beam defense will be a little bit different because of that's based on the ship drive instead of the computer. I think it's 5 per combat speed, so it'll be 30 plus 50 plus 75, something like that. But we'll just see the summary here. And that's going to be critical, especially against these Illyrians, because they have a plus beam attack. Let's see what kind of computer they have. They have positronic, so that's not good. Ship offense plus 50. Okay, so they're going to have that. Essentially cancels out my ship defense ability. Then they've got 75 because of the positronic computer, and they've got Warlord. So They're going to be able to hit with a lot of their weapons. Maybe I can win the diplomatic victory there. Okay, truth be told, I'm glad that I didn't win it, because that would have been a pretty big anticlimax if I just won then and there. I think I'll grab one more planet. Preferably one that's not ultra poor. Because I built this extra colony ship. Oh, these ones are all ultra poor, which is pretty bad. Doesn't get much worse than ultra poor. Maybe I can go up there and grab that one. This is 1, 2, 3 decent planets there. Gryzlon has the highest production, so I'll keep building colony ships there actually. Just 3 more. And this amoeba, I probably don't need all my fleet. I'll send Jared and a few other guys. I'll wait until I have the colony ships and then I'll go and I'll colonize all the planets at once. Alright, Nolan's making demands for some reason. Okay, now we have Hollow Simulator. So there's a few paths here. I could go for force fields, hopefully get Gorse Cannon. Gorse Cannon's pretty far down though, so not a big fan of that. The other option is to go for physics. Hopefully get a better weapon, like a maybe Gravitron Beam. Like Neutron Scanner is here, which is good, but I'd rather have Neutron Blaster at this point. But if I research this, then it'll reveal the next field, which will be gravity. And that could be Gravitron Beam or Planetary Gravity Generator, which would also be good for the colonies, or it could be Tractor Beam, which I think would be useless. But then there could be another weapon after that as well, so I could keep going in this direction. For power, Ion Pulse Cannon is already not available here. But I could keep going in this direction, maybe to get antimatter drive, or even antimatter torpedoes. And also chemistry is an option because better armor. So we kind of missed out on Zortrium armor. At least I think this is where Zortrium armor is. It could be the next field. Microlight construction is good. It does increase industry by 1 per worker. But neutronium armor could be further down, so that would certainly be worth getting. Sociology is kind of the unique field, unique category of research, because a lot of the technologies, a lot of the fields only have one technology. So if you're uncreative, you basically get everything anyway. So I could go for Confederation in this direction. Biology, probably not going to help me at all. Computers, I can't really think of anything particularly useful. Emissions guidance system is good. But I think I've only got nuclear missiles still, so not ideal. And as for construction, well, that's kind of just, at this point, pretty miscellaneous. Like, the spaceport is good. Maybe I could get ground batteries. That would be good. Could also get robo miners right after this. That would boost my production considerably. So given I'm actually, yeah, now that I have kind of laid it all out, I'm going to go with construction. Not really because I want spaceport, but because I'm interested to see the next technology there. But the main thing is that it's only 400 research points. So this is another consideration. The number of research points to go in that direction. So this, like physics, for example, would be much more tempting than chemistry, just because of how long it's going to take to research the next technology available in chemistry, which is macrolite construction, which is going to take 2,000 RP. I only have 121 RP, so spaceport probably not going to take very long. And something I've never explained in any of the other videos is this here. As you can see, 400 RP, but I have 121 RP. I don't know the exact formula, but that there is important. It says that's a tilde, which means it's saying approximately 6 turns. So as you approach 0 RP, the probability that you research it increases, and it is probability based. And then each turn after that, the probability increases significantly until it reaches 100%. So next turn, this might change to 1%, which is to say there's a 1% chance that my scientists will make a breakthrough. It's a very interesting mechanic. It's not a case of 400 RP, 121 RP, therefore it takes 4 turns. Not quite that simple. They decided to make it a bit more interesting than that, just because it's science. These are ideas that the people have, and then the scientists are trying to devise a method of making that idea work practically. Like it's kind of realistic, because that's basically how science works in real life, like scientific inventions and whatnot. They just keep trying different ways until it actually works, and then it works, and then off we go. So really quite interesting what they did there with that. The RNG element is you could, if you're not a fan of RNG, then that it wouldn't be ideal. But if nothing else, it's quite interesting how they did it. So all these planets that are researching, I'm going to switch into production in order to build hollow simulators. And then once the hollow simulator is done, I'm going to switch into spaceport, of course. Okay, I took a lot of people off site, so now my RP is reduced. Now it's 9 turns. So it's not going to be a percentage to research it until it's about 4 or 5 turns. That's when it starts to turn into a percentage for a breakthrough. So now we're at 6 turns. One more turn, and then this should display a percentage. Okay, maybe one more turn after this. If I move enough people to science, it might turn into a percentage. As you can see, this planet with the gravity penalty and the government penalty, there's really no point in putting these guys on science. So they're going to stay on housing, I guess, or industry. Now we're at 3 turns, still no percentage. I think because RP is still quite high. Like we're down to 222 out of 400. Still waiting on a couple more colony ships. Now that we're approaching 0, a percentage has appeared. So this is saying there's a 36% chance when I end turn that they'll research this technology, which is to say make a breakthrough. There we go. Alright, powered armor. It is good, but I was kind of hoping for robo miners. So now I'm going to go for neutron scanner, see if graviton beam reveals itself. Now it's time to build spaceports across the board. Spaceport will give me some decent money. I would have preferred fighter garrison, but spaceport will have to do. Now it's time I'll move all these colony ships up, kill this amoeba, and we'll have some more colonies. So even though I'm feudal, having all these scientists, it does add up. Now for the heavy gravity planets, really no point of building, or sorry, of doing any research at all. Basically, feudal government takes out 50%, and then the heavy gravity takes out the other 50%, so you end up with pretty much something close to 0. Okay, here we go. Some interesting technologies here. Research laboratory. Probably the only thing I have worthy of offering. Yeah, but they got 2 technologies that they don't have. So they really want Holo Simulator. I could give it to everyone and get a whole bunch of technologies simultaneously. So I think actually that is my best bet for winning this. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not to them though, because I don't care about anti-missile rockets. So grab a missile base. Battle pods, 100%. And yet no titanium armor. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. I probably could have planned that out a little bit better to try and get titanium armor. But here we are. I'll go with research laboratory then. In normal circumstances, holo simulator for research laboratory is a terrible trade. But these aren't really normal circumstances, so. Now what I'm going to have to do is really build up production at these planets. Just so I can refit all my ships. Thing is, when you sorry, when you refit a ship that with battle pods, where the original design doesn't have battle pods, the cost to produce it is very, very high. So the best way to do it is to build up lots and lots of production, and then you can refit them quickly. So probably we'll split them up between Kraslon, Wu, and Omicron. Brainiac, I think, doesn't. Yeah, he offers science. Does have environmentalists, but these guys offer labor. And these systems have silicoids primarily. So that'll probably. On the other hand, there's only this one has some good industry, but not the other ones. Okay, finally got a technology from the spies. Looks like I got there just in time because the Trilarians are going to go for it. So already my science is starting to take off a bit thanks to these research labs. Don't know if the Trilarians will still try to colonize that, but we'll see. and the Antarans aren't attacking me. Alright, looks like the Trilarians went back, so that's kind of nice. And now I need to gear all these planets up for refitting ships. So I'm trying to make as much production as possible because I'm going to give them battle pods. And the production cost for that is quite extreme. I'll just wait for this to research and then we'll start refitting. Might come back to that guy later. Does seem pretty good. Send these ships to Chrysler because they have a navigator. And I'll split these ships up. Chrysler 2 is about to complete a battleship, so I'll just move. Ooh, jump gate, that's very nice. Tractor beam. So getting jump gate means that I believe subspace communications will be available, which is after artificial gravity, or maybe it's 2 after artificial gravity. But as you can see, tractor beam was the one that became available, which is the least useful of the 3, so that's a bit disappointing. I'll still outfit the ships with battle pods. But I'll go in this direction to try and get neutronium armor. Maybe if the Illyrians don't declare war on me, it'll be okay. But I'll go ahead and review my technology in a second. I do have a Merculite missile. Maybe with that with the missions guidance system could be pretty good. Not ideal though, considering I'm kind of playing beam attack mode. So I've got inertial stabilizer as well, that's very nice. I could give every ship an inertial stabilizer and an ECM jammer. So I've got very high missile evasion, very high beam defense. Merculite missile doesn't have MERV yet. Interesting. It's also no shield. Troop pods could be useful for capturing enemy ships. So this is kind of one of the hallmarks of playing Uncreative. It very much makes for an interesting game because of all the randomness. They're very unique games as well because the technologies you get are different every time. So I'm going to go ahead and refit these ships, but I'll continue researching in this direction. Just because it might feel pointless, but just because of you don't want to wait too long to upgrade your fleet because of the chance of enemy attacks. The enemy could just come for you, and if your ships are sitting there and all obsolete, yeah, it won't go well. So I'm going to go ahead and do this anyway. I will give them some missiles. Actually, I'll make them nuclear missiles, but with Merv. ACCM just reduces. It's like a counter to any electronic countermeasures. So I think it halves the effectiveness of things like ECM jammer. So go ahead and put a bunch of those on there, just to give it some extra punch. Meanwhile, very high beam defense, pretty good missile evasion, still terrible armor and no shield at all, so let's see. We'll see how we go. As you can see, even with all that production built up, still 2 turns to refit the ship. So moving battle pods onto a ship that doesn't have battle pods, very high production cost. See that one there, 13 turns. I'm going to do it anyway because I do need to bring my fleet up to scratch. I'm going to scrap the destroyers because I don't want to redesign 3 lines of ships at a time. It is basically too many. 2 is fine though, I think. And then I'll use the spare command points to build more battleships, basically. Yeah, 10 turns for that one. So it's pretty unusual to have this many battleships when you research battle pods for the first time. But of course, Uncreative will do that. got a feeling the Nolems... Oh, they seem to be fighting back, actually. These battleships here are probably on their way to attack me, I would imagine. So 4 turns. Only 3 turns for these ones. I think this is thanks to Jump Gate, which I just, I think I stole it. Class 1 shield, Zortru Mama. So I'm going to send... These guys can actually get there in time. So I'm going to send them over. Even though they're my older ships. Because I think these will attack, and then I might be able to capture some of them. So that'd be very good. If I could grab Zortru Mama, that would be extremely good. Meanwhile, I'll continue refitting the rest of the fleet. So that ship didn't die, amazingly. They have some pretty good leaders. That one only has titanium armor, which is pretty interesting. On the one hand, makes it easy to kill, but also means capturing it won't be very valuable. Now, because they have neutron blasters, they've actually killed all my marines. So I'm not actually going to be able to capture these. But I did destroy their entire fleet, and get rid of those leaders, so that is important. And that was one of those situations where I had a feeling they were going to be attacking me, so I attacked them first, and it pops up that we're now at war. So there's no message from them saying, why did you attack us? Because they essentially had attacked me already. So I lost some good ships, some good people, in terms of veterans there, but unfortunately the technology, the tools I gave them to work with were subpar, so it was a lot closer than it should have been compared to a situation where my technology was actually good. hopefully though I should be able to get some good technologies out of them via spying. I think this is very close. Like 2/3 would be. If it's 69, well, 66 would be 44. I think that's extremely close. I think one more vote would be enough to make me win that. 46 divided by 68. I think I'm at like 65.5% or something. So extremely close. But again, not disappointed because if I won like that, what would be the fun in that? Because I'm very keen to see where this goes with the whole bad technology situation. I have 8 transports, so I can actually, yeah, I can get to them, surprisingly. I must have pretty good fuel cells. Okay, I do have iridium fuel cells. So I'll keep building spies and I'll try to just do espionage for now. See how we go with that, and then I might go and try to take some of their planets. See if we can get some technologies from some of these other guys. No. Once again, I don't think I have anything to trade, and hence they're not offering anything. Okay, here we go. Ooh, there it is. Neutronium armor. Okay, 100%. I want this. Once I have that, I should be in a pretty good decent spot, so I just need to survive until I can research that. And then the next order of business after that will be getting better weapons. Maybe a shield. A shield isn't necessarily like completely necessary, because if you look at these ships, very high beam defense. So as long as they've got decent armor, they'll be okay. I'm up to 420 RP now. But it looks like the Antarans have something to say about that. They're sending in cruisers now. Fortunately, this is only a recently colonized planet, so it is going to die. Once again, nothing I can do about it. But the people can live there for a few more turns until they're exterminated. I'm glad that they chose that planet instead of a much better planet. But now that neutronium armor presents itself, we can grab that. Then I'll continue researching in physics. Hopefully get maybe phaser. And then maybe go for a shield. Also want a better drive. I might go for shield capacitors next actually. See if I can get any matter drive, because right now my drive is abysmal, being the nuclear drive. Alright, looks like all my old battleships are now being refitted. I'm just trying to evacuate these people here. And then he will be exterminated. Okay, they want a star system, so obviously I can't give them that. So again, I just need to hang on here. I'm gonna just buy that so I can switch back into research, because this place does have Brainiac. 10 more turns, roughly. Sakra are red. Don't know if they can actually reach me though. They are pretty far away. They have uridium fuel cells, okay. So let's take a look. Looks like they can reach Colden. And maybe that's it. Oh, there's and Ras. I can quite easily get there though. They all have star bases and missile bases. So again, it's about to get interesting. Meanwhile, the Illyrians have Titans, as do the Sacra. So this guy here, 197 beam attack, 205 beam defense. Very, very good. They could just use torpedoes or something like that there. Although I also have very high missile evasion, so maybe it will be alright. We'll see. Don't see any enemy fleets moving in on me yet. What I need to do is spread my ships around so I can refit them all very quickly. Just going to buy these just to get a good gauge of how many more ships left to be refitted. Okay, here they come. Quite a large fleet actually. 2 Titans. 8 battleships. 4 turns away. Fortunately, it looks like most of my ships can get there in 4 turns. Okay, that's very, very important. Let's see what kind of technology they have. They actually have class 5 shield, so lasers aren't really going to do anything. Some pretty impressive weaponry. Zortrium armor, of course. I might have to trade for a weapon. Even Mass Driver would be better than what I have. As you can see, there's the only weapon there is Mass Driver. But I think they're only going to give something up. Yeah, microlight construction, okay, something really good. Interesting situation. I don't know that I can actually beat them. Let's see what computer they have. Positronic computer. I don't think they have battle scanner though. High gravity as well. With subterranean, so ground combat's going to be a problem. So this is going to give them 75 beam attack. Really want to know what kind of weapons they're using. Assault shuttles will be problematic. But if I can destroy them before they land, then that's fine. Antimatter torpedo. So this could be a problem. On the other hand, I do have my ECM jammer. 180 beam defense on one of the elites. On a regular, 145. The main problem, I think, is the class 5 shield. If all these ships have class 5 shield, I won't really be able to do anything. Not with lasers. Lasers are already obsolete by the time they have class 3 shield. Class 5 is really just insult to injury. The nukes would do not a lot of damage. Merculite could do some decent damage. They do have Zortrim armor there. Oh, they do have battle scanner actually. Ooh, very tricky. Very, very tricky. I need Neutron Blaster. So they do have battle scanner, which I have to assume that they do. I'm sorry, if they do equip battle scanner. With positronic computer, that's 125. Maybe some good leaders as well. $14 battleships. Yeah, they've really timed this attack, because if I got neutronium armor, I think I'd be absolutely fine. Because my battleships would go from having 200 health to having 1200 health. So they'd have 6 times as much HP. And even with lasers, I wouldn't be too bothered by that. But you know what? Let's move everything there. See what happens. Just for fun. I think these other planets can build ships fast enough that it's not too much of an issue. I will try to make some other battleships here though. Just as kind of bomber ships. Bit of a shame to use ultra elite crew just for a bomber ship, but it does give it the beam of defense, so that is nice. And it looks like I might get neutronium armor just in time for this combat, which is to say the technology won't kick in at all. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Should be interesting, if nothing else. Oh, that guy's not going to get here in time, but... Alright, here we go. Okay, it looks like they don't all have class 5 shields, so this is actually going to be okay. This is exactly, I didn't mention it earlier, but this is exactly what I was hoping for. So we'll start by taking out leaders and any ships with class 1 shield. Some of them, oh, it looks like they don't have any leaders at all. So I'll take out these ones that have class 1 shield. Some of them even have titanium armor. Oops. Thought that was the ship that had class 1 shield. So the ones with class 1 shield are going to go down very easy. Might even be able to capture some of those. So my lasers will still do something against class 3 shield, but not very much. And considering I outnumber them, might be okay. Alright, they're using tractor beams. Okay, tractor beams with neutron blaster is a pretty good combination. Because the neutron blaster kills marines, and then the tractor beams kill the, or take the ship. So as you can see, my missiles do quite a lot of damage. And it looks like they're not going to use their, I think some of them had antimatter torpedoes. They're not going to use them at all. It looks like they've calculated that my missile evasion is so high that there's no point of even trying. So that's kind of interesting. Without ACCM, doesn't really surprise me. So it's unlikely I'll capture these because their marines are probably a lot better than mine. Okay, not too much better, but they are better. Okay, very wise. They're going to retreat with their ships which aren't immobilized. I really want to capture at least one of these. It doesn't look like that's going to happen because of the difference in marine strength. There we go. So the battle actually went pretty well. Took out most of their fleet. Hopefully I didn't lose any leaders. I couldn't quite tell which ships. Let's take a look. Okay, looks like I still got my 2 leaders. So, yeah, okay. Lost a few battleships, but I'm about to get neutronium armor, so I should be okay. We'll keep fighting, but I'm going to leave it there. So, yeah, I really don't know if I can actually win this. It's starting to look better though, thanks to neutronium armor. And then it's a matter of getting a better weapon, and then I think I'm good to go after that. As you could see, their beam weapons couldn't really do much damage. Like, they did kill some ships, but that's only because the ships have such low HP that when they do get hit, they just blow up. But once I've got decent HP, then they won't be able to do anything for now. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one.